Well, hello and good day. So, I was out yesterday. I met up with a fellow from TPUG named Steve Gray. And we got talking about this 1541 I've been tinkering on, and how it has a very short little circuit board. And, which I must have seen before, I just don't remember it. But there was an interesting thing about it in that when you put a disk in, the drive spins. And this is something that probably should have been done long ago. It was certainly done with the early, like, dual drives, like the 8050s and the 8250s, that you push the disk down into. Oh, hello, Sheldon. Hi. Sheldon is here. Sheldon, put your little feet up here. Is this your spot, Sheldon? Come on, let's talk to the people. Let's talk to the people. There we go. There's Mr. Sheldon. Okay, you get comfy. So, there you go. No, you get comfy. There you go. Don't jump around. There you go. Yes, you do. So, anyway, I remember there was the expression that we would, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, tickle the disk drives. And with the old 4040s at TPUG, when I was there as the librarian and in the office and copying things, if I just put disks into, we had a lot of 4040s we used to copy with, but we had them all hooked up to the same machine, so we could just issue one command and away they would go. Yes, I know, Sheldon, I know. Yes, I do, yes. But if we just put the disks in and closed the doors and issued the command, we would have a lot more disks that didn't copy properly, and we'd have to do again. So what we would do is put all the disks in, leave the doors open, issue the command, and then, I can't do this with Sheldon in my arms, but then take two hands and go down the pile and close all the doors. Just at the beginning, as things were spinning up, so the disks would get seated properly, and it reduced the number of failures dramatically. Very dramatically. So, I'm not surprised to see that somehow, someday, that Commodore didn't figure out, hey, we should have the disk spin on the 1541 when people put it in. Because they'd already figured it out for the 8050 and the 8250 that I remember. At least the ones where you had to push the disk thing down and in. I don't remember about the other ones. But anyway, so we were talking about this. Hello, Sheldon. And right now I have the disk drive over there. It's on its side. It's connected to a disk drive that has a good actual disk drive mechanism. And I couldn't remember if, when I put a disk into this other one, if the disk drive spun or not. So I still don't know, because of course I haven't looked at it. Sheldon is here. Right, Sheldon? Are you purring? Yes. So anyway, what I want to find out is, as I do this, with a different disk drive, different disk drive mechanisms, does it still spin? So I guess what I'm looking for is it the disk drive mechanism that has been kind of figured that, hey, I should spin, or is it something on the board? Well, I guess if it still works, they've got to work together. There's got to be a sensor that says, yo, disk coming in. Right, Sheldon? Sheldon, I have to look at this disk drive. Sheldon, look at the people. There, Sheldon. Okay, Sheldon, I gotta look at this disk drive. Yes, I do. I gotta look at the disk drive. Yes, I know. So Sheldon, I gotta put you down. And and I gotta look at the disk drive. Yes, I do. Okay. Sheldon, I gotta put you down, boo-boo. Here we go. Ready? Okay. There you go. I know. Okay, so. No, Sheldon, I gotta check out the disk drive here. So, the question is, as I was saying, is with this short little board now, and connected to this other disk drive mechanism, is when I go to put a disk in, is it going to spin? That's the question. Hi, Sheldon. No, Sheldon, I gotta work here. Thank you. Yes, that's the disk drive I'm testing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Don't knock it down, please. I know. Okay, Sheldon, I'll see if I can get you a place to perch here sometime. Right now. Okay, Sheldon, there you go. There you go. Okay, so, I know, Sheldon. So, this is a tight squeeze. I do notice that I must have unplugged the read-write head thing. Whoa, get them a little closer. Hi, Sheldon. So I think everything is turned on and plugged in. So I'm going to turn this on. And the disk drive spins. Whoa. Yeah, this is tight. And now I need a disk, which I have one right here. So when I put this disk in, aha! The disk drive does not spin. So let me look at the numbers here. They're both Neutronics drives. Interesting. Okay, well I see boy, this read-write head thing is really stretched here. Let me turn on the computer here. See if that makes any difference. Aha! Aha! So, with the Commodore 64 connected and turned on, as I take a disk out, it spins. As I put a disk in, it spins. Well, let me try something else here. I'm going to disconnect from the computer, turn it on, open the door, nothing happens. And when I put a disk in, nothing happens. Oh no. I'm pulling at the, I wonder even, this is so snug. I wonder if the head even has enough room to really move properly here. Maybe I didn't pull it out, maybe it actually came out. I'm leaning the drive a little further. I really don't want to hurt it. seems. Let's see here. Okay, so this is, of course, more music. Let's see here. Oh, this looks like fun. Well, we'll go with those. Let's just see what happens. So interesting. I was wondering before if this kind of monitor thing wouldn't give. I find that when the monitor's shooting straight on, you really can't see what's going on. The colors get much. Anyway, it's funny, some of these, I've had them forever. I don't know if I've ever listened to them. This is from Hitchcock. I'm assuming it's something to do with Alfred Hitchcock. You know, that show is even old for me, but I do remember watching reruns. And I just put trumpets in because I just don't know what it is. I still keep waiting for the trumpet. It sounds it sounds an awful lot like an organ. moving an empty box. And you know, things happen. So, now that that has run, I'm going to open this drive door. And look at that. It spins. But if I don't take it all the way out, it doesn't spin. But when I put it back in, it spins. Interesting. So, if I turn the computer off, it should not spin. But it does. Alright. Hang on. I'm going to turn the drive off and take the disk out. Did you know that if you turn the drive off and it isn't the right drive because you've got it hooked up to the other thing, it doesn't turn on? Oh. Okay. I'm going to turn it back on. It spins. I'm going to put a disk in. It spins. It didn't do this before. Alright, what's going on here? I'm going to disconnect the serial cable. It spins. Interesting. Maybe I just had an anomaly before. Okay, the drive is on. Put a disk in. It spins. Well, then this is all telling me that somehow or another, the drive will not be present if you don't plug it in. It just won't. So, what? Oh, is that drive head getting put in? It's not that. What I am surmising from all of this is that this must be some sort of ROM thing. Let's look at this. Rainbow. Take. Okay, that looks like an interesting story. So, yes. So it must be, like there are, it's funny, you know, back to stories, long ago, and I don't remember on what TPUG disc this song was sent in to be considered to be on a disc. But it had the words up there, and then it didn't have a bouncing ball, but the words would light up. So the regular 64 meeting was at that moment for a while at Earl Hague Secondary School, and Jim Butterfield was there doing something, and I said, "Hey, show this." So he did, and darned if he didn't start singing along with it. and even doing movements, especially when the birds fly. It was quite something. I wish we'd had digital cameras back then, because there was a lot of stuff that wasn't recorded and should have been. Not that there wasn't ways to record things at that time, but it just didn't happen. So, back to the disk drive. So I figure that the RAM, not the RAM, there must be something in the ROM, so a difference in the ROM, and there is a little sensor. Let me look if I have a disk handy, or a disk unit handy. No, I really don't. There is some sort of little sensor just inside. So I'm just looking. No, I see a board. Anyway, there is a little sensor just inside the beginning of where a disk would go in. So something in there must be being accessed to trigger something to say, hey, spin the drive, spin the drive. So they probably made many millions of the 1541s without doing that. And somehow or another, something must have clicked in that, hey, we should make those spin like the 8050 and the 8250. By the way, for those that don't know, just in case, because you could be out there, the 8050 and the 8250 were dual drives, IEEE, to go with the PET and the other sort of businessy things. They had the 8050 was single-sided. And the 8250 was dual-sided. And for business people who were doing businessy things that needed bigger and bigger files, this was kind of important. And then, of course, eventually came the hard drives. The 9060 and the 9090. 5 megabytes and 7.5 megabytes. And at some point, you'll see me messing around. I have had one up and going, well, I've been tinkering on one before, but it wasn't working. So, but I did get a message telling me there was a model of the Seagate hard drive that supposedly worked in the 9060 and the 9090, which I think I have some around, imagine that. So, I think I made it clear before when I had the 9060 and I was kind of tinkering around that I was terrified. But I have not brought my other 9090 up from the basement, and it supposedly works. So at some point I will open up the working one, open up the not working one, and maybe I'm afraid I'm going to end up with two that don't work, but what I really like is at minimum to have one that works and one that doesn't, and for me to know what's wrong, and maximum, I'd like to have two that work. I have no idea what this is. Dance Hall Days. Oh, by Wang Chung. Oh yeah, now it's coming back to me. Yeah. Wow, it's been like 34 years since this came out. This is scary. I believe I'm getting old. It's funny, because I'm looking around. Oh, okay. I couldn't find the top of the disk drive, or the one I was testing, but I have now. And this one here, it didn't have a top on it. So in doing a little tinkering there, there is the thing that is near the front of the drive mechanism is the read-write detector to see if the disk is protected. So as I put the disk in, it's very quickly that comes up. That it starts spinning. So I'm thinking that somebody said, hey, we got that thing that sees if the disk is reading or writing, or not readable or writable. Sorry. We have that thing to see if the disk is write protected. Somehow, as soon as the disk goes in, it must start doing something. And somewhere, somebody started accessing it. And now, the disk will spin. No more disk tickling. This is a much longer song than I remember. Let's go Raptors. The NBA playoffs. Well, it's better than it was, I suppose. We'll start in a little bit, and we'll see how the Raptors can fare this year. Well, I suppose somewhat of my answer has been answered, in that I know that the spinning disk drive must be something to do with a change in probably one of the EPROMs, which of course sets my mind in motion. If I switch it around to a different version board, will it still spin? I don't know. And does it really matter? No, probably not. Anyway, sometimes you never know what will get to be intriguing. Well, I guess that is that. I will get in touch with Steve Cray and tell him of my experiments. So, until we meet again, thank you for coming. Bye for now.